Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Sandhya.
Good morning.
Yes, we have very less audience today. Hopefully, they'll join because today's book is something that is really wonderful. It speaks a lot about the kind of person we are. Of course, we have our wonderful reviewers who will be telling us. But from what I understand from the book is that typically there are three different. There are, I would say, there should be four different kind of people. Uh, the first kind is somebody who always feels that he or she knows everything. Somebody who continuously preaches. Then the second type of person is somebody who feels that, oh, I can never be wrong. I'm always right. And then there is somebody who always looks for an approval, though this book calls that mode as a politician mode. But I would disagree over here because I think today's politicians don't really look for our approval, particularly the Indian politicians. So maybe I'm not sure whether it applies today in today's world. And the type that if I understand the book, is really wanting us to be is the learner's mode, a scientist mode, where you're open to things happening around you, where you're continuously learning. And I think since many of us in this group are trainers, I think that is a mindset that we should have. A good leader has a learner's mindset. So this is what the book is talking about. And the best part is for this book review, we have three experienced book reviewers who have been uh, doing book review in the past also. We have the lovely Praveena. We have the ever smiling Ritu, and we have Lian, who who is a psychologist in the group. So this book is written by a psychologist. So I think who else can give us a wonderful insight into that mindset other than Leanne? And then we have our regular audience, Mangala ma'am. She has been religiously following every book review. Thank you so much for your continued support, Mangala ma'am. And good morning, CA Sanjay Bhatt. And good morning, CA Ruchi. So with that, the
Good
stage is yours.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Sanjay ji, for joining us. Yes. Okay, the stage is all yours. Continue. All the very best.
So, hi, good morning, everyone. We are presenting a very beautiful book, Think Again by Adam Grant. And many of us know that he is one of the most prized writer. This is a beautiful book. Don't go by the label of it. It says Think Again, which people generally, I had also assumed that this is about uh, thinking before speaking. But this has given beautiful case studies. The first one is of a wildfire in which people learned to give up the tools that they are carrying of training that they are so used to. Fine. So there was a firefighter, Wagner Dodge. He survived the fire while all the other team members died of they got charred and burnt in fire. He could decide to give up the tools and take up a new strategy. From there, there's a good change in firefighters in the training of firefighters in USA. Then there is one more case study that is commonly used, that is students hesitate to change their answers when they are revising their work. But when psychoanalysis was done, it was clearly understood that making a change is always better. When we decide, we favor the comfort of conviction over the discomfort of doubt. So when you doubt something, you need to stand up, work, cudgel up your brains, do an action, take an action. We avoid that, and that is why we need to understand that from seizing to freezing, our initial ideas that need to be really worked on. Then there are barriers of rethinking that are being talked about. Well, Liana ma'am and Pravina ma'am will continue with that. So this is just an understanding of how the book talks about. It is the cycle of rethinking that we really need to understand. Intellectual humility, we will talk about doubt, which internal humility leads to doubt, doubt him to curiosity, and it leads to discovery. So now I would hand over to the next presenter.
Thank you, Ritu. Let me share my screen. Thank you, Ritu. So, why we need to rethink? In the world that is moving at a dazzling speed, where the facts of today are the outdated assumptions of tomorrow, our ability to unlearn and relearn is far more important than raw intelligence. Grant argues that we often cling to our old views not because the evidence support them, but because our identities are tied up being right. This book is a practical guide to detaching our opinion from our ego and embracing the joy of being wrong. Yeah, the joy of being wrong. So, the first chapter is the intellectual roles. So, everybody in our life plays different role, and these roles are one of these four roles. So, the what are the four roles? There are four mindset we'll fall into. The first is the preacher. That is, we are always in the defending mode. We was always says that what we believe are the correct, and that is only the truth. That is our belief. So when we are challenged, we deliver summons to protect and promote our ideas. The second is the prosecutor. So when we hear a flawed argument, we marshal evidence to demolish the opponent's perspective and prove them wrong. So, in the first, the preacher mode, we think that we are only the right, and always in the defending mode that what I believe, what I said is the correct way of thinking and is only the truth. The prosecutor is uh, in a attacking mode. He always collect the evidence and demolish the opponent perspectives and always try to prove them wrong. The third is the politician. When we are campaigning for the approval, we lobby our audience, sacrifice truth for the popularity. So, like politicians, they say that he don't have balance. He moves wherever there is a popularity or the majority. So sometimes we act or think as a politician. So Grant says that these more are defensive and emotional, and the solution is the scientist mode. The scientist goal isn't to be right, but to get it right. They views their current beliefs not as a facts, but as a testable hypothesis. This involves actively searching for reasons why might be wrong, not just reason why we must be right. The core takeaway from this section is that the barrier to rethinking isn't our ignorance. It is our cognitive biases. Yeah, you can search on the internet. They have listed 100 plus cognitive biases due to which we don't think rationally. We think that we are thinking rationally and logically, but not. It is not true for many times. There are cognitive biases and our emotional attachment to our ideas. So let's move to the next chapter. So we have to think like a scientist. We have to check what are our assumptions, what are our beliefs, and in the changing scenario and conditions, they are true or correct as on date. So we have to think like a scientist, and the goal is that it is not what we it is not that what we said is a right, but to get it right thing. The next is the Dunning-Kruger trap. Yes, it is the trap where the less competent you are, the more confident you tend to be. Grant calls the peak of this curve Mount Stupid, where limited knowledge prevent you from seeing the vastness of what you don't know. The true expert, realizing complexity, lands in the valley of the despair. The goal isn't to eliminate confidence, but to cultivate confidence Humility. Confidence is rooted in your ability to learn and improve. Humility is about your current knowledge. Acknowledge that you might be wrong. This balances allows us to trust our process of inquiry while being skeptical of our conclusions. So there is a humility that I may be wrong, and if I am wrong, then I will make correction. And this humility leads us to a perfect decision maker. The next chapter is the joy of being wrong. Yes, the purpose of our life is to live a happy life, peaceful life. And this gives you only when you think right. And that happens only when you think again, because our thinking is developed as per our situation, as per our upbringing, the people surrounded by us, our experience, our situations. So the thinking or the beliefs keep on changing, and we have to check through which beliefs we are operating. And if we are operating from the belief that I want to live a peaceful and happy life, and for that purpose, what should I do? Maybe it required to change my beliefs, or the change of my thinking, change the way of I am acting, and this can be acceptable only when you are in a scientist thinking mode. So the chapters, the joy of being wrong, it say that what is our identity, because all is connected with our identity. In NLP terms, there are six layers that were under which you operate. What you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself. Is there only your thinking, or is there your belief, or is it your identity? So you have to check from which layer you are operating, and accordingly, if you are aware from which layer you are operating, you can make correction and change. So, the chapter 3 gives various examples. He gave the example of Blueberry phones. The founder of the phone, how he developed the phone, and what is his thinking. And when Apples come in the market, due to his abandon, or due to his inability to rethink, he is out of the market, which the BlackBerry phone shares the 50% share of the market. But when the BlackBerry phone is used to convey the messages through Gmail, or it was a messaging instrument, and it is having the keypad, but the Apple brings the touch screen. So when the some employees, or the some members of his company suggested him we should move to that, he becomes, no, the BlackBerry is popular due to its keypad, and its ability to give the messages. Uh, so it is its main or key point or USP of the phone, and we should not pivot from that USP. But in this changing scenario, when the market is available with the more advanced feature, you should have to change to that feature. The Nokia phone is also the same, having the same example, same story. If you don't pivot according to change situation, you are out of the market. The thinking is also the same. So the joy of being wrong, when you change your thinking and you receive a great result, you enjoy the being wrong gives you the right answer. So, but the admitting mistake is not easy. It is very painful. And why it is so painful? Because we often attach our beliefs to our identity. If my opinion is wrong, I feel like I am a flawed. The solution is to decouple opinions from an identity. Stop identified as a person who holds X belief and start identifying me, a person who values learning and truth seeking. If you adopt the latter identity, finding out you were wrong is a success and not a failure because it means you just learned something new. Grant argues us to treat mistake as a funnel of failure, celebrating the discovery of error, which accelerates the discovery of being right. Next. So, uh, is there is always a consensus to every decision or thinking, maybe it a company, a corporate, a professional, or your family. The conflict is obvious. So, how to rethink in case of conflicts is the next chapter. Yeah, okay. This is the belief system. I move to the next slide. So we are talking about the conflict. There are two type of conflicts. One is constructive and one is not constructive. So rethinking it's not just internal, it is social also. The group of people also think or rethink. Grant argues that disagreement is not toxic, it's essential provided we engage in the right kind of conflict. We must distinguish between the relationship conflict, that is when we conflict from the belief system, emotional, personal, focus on who is right, and this is destructive. Then another conflict is task conflict, that is cognitive conflict. A focus purely on the merits of the ideas, processes, and proposals. There is a construction. High performing teams have low relationship conflicts but moderate to high task conflicts. Task conflicts is the engine of rethinking in a group because it forces people to question and defend their hypothesis. To foster this, teams need to disagreeable givers, people who aggressively challenge ideas but fundamentally motivated by the team's success. So it is not my what I said or what I argued is correct, but it is the collective decision of the team, and he should support whatever decision team has taken and accordingly act. So he is a disagreeable giver. So you should challenge the ideas and not the person who is putting that argument. We saw in politics there is not the fight for the beliefs or your values, but who is the opponent? How so? There is a abusive language. There is a arguments on your personal beliefs or their personal life, and this should not happen. This is not the constructive conflict. So the team members should focus on the data and not on what is put or who is putting that information. This is the table given in the book. In the low performing team, there is a high level of relationship conflicts and low task conflicts. In average performing team, the percentage is 50-50, and in high performing team, the task conflict is more because they challenge the basis of the idea or a product and check it from the all angles. So it is like what critic do, they think from the critics angle about their own products. So when their product come in the market, it is a full proof. No one can bring out any flaw in the product. So the key strategy is separate the argument from the person, frame the debate as a collective task. Let's assume this proposal is wrong and try to prove it. So but how you convince someone to rethink when they are in a preacher or prosecutor mode? And even the person is not known that he is in a preacher or prosecutor mode. So what techniques you can adopt while dealing with this kind of people is said in the book by the Grant. So The worst approach to argue with these people is to argue aggressively or lecture them. This will not work. So the solution is motivational interviewing. MI. The power of motivational interviewing is counseling approach designing to help people find their own internal reason for change. So what are their beliefs and why he should change? This is a logical thinking. The logical person that think that everyone should think in that way only. But the person many times are not logical or rational. They think from the emotional mind. So in that case, how you can deal with the people or how you can make them to rethink about their decision. So you cannot make them force to change their mind, their natural defensive activeness. Instead, you should act like a collaborative interviewer, not an aggressive interrogator. The main tool of motivational interviewing is ask open-ended questions. Instead of stating facts, ask what evidence would change your mind or how do you see this playing out, and practice active listening. Repeat or summarize their views to show you understand. And earning, when you show that you understand, when you repeat whatever they are saying, you earn the right to ask more questions. And then highlight the discrepancy. Gently point out the conflict between their actions and that is clinging to the false belief and their stated values. So there are many times there is a difference between their beliefs and their action, and this you can point out by asking the relevant questions. And when you ask the relevant questions, you allow them to realize their inconsistency. And the last point stated by the grant is affirm autonomy. Always end by emphasizes that the decision to change is there, reducing the defensive pressure. Grant shows that the goal is not to win the argument, but to open the door to them to walk through themselves. Very well said by the Grant. And the next chapter talks about how we can create organization, communities, and school built for lifelong learnings. Very well said. So we learn about the theory, how we think, how person act, and how we can change, how we can make them change or revisit their thinking. And the next chapter is how we can bring in to the society. So, rethinking in the schools and learning grant argues that our education system often prioritizes processing information, that is, memorizing facts, and over rethinking, uh, not said anything. So, we should shift our focus from content to process. Instead of asking students, what do you learn? We should ask, how do you know that? And what evidence what evidence would make you change your mind? This instills the habit of scientific thinking from a young age. He champions the idea of challenge network, a group of people who are expected to critique your ideas and point out your blind spots. Yeah, it is very important to be aware of the blind spots rather than a support network that just validates you. The power of identity, the ultimate barrier to rethinking, especially in the political and cultural tribes, is the attachment of our beliefs to our collective identity. So there are religious rights because what I said is correct. If you said anything about the religion, it is against me because the religion is my identity. So the attachment to our beliefs, we should not challenge that, but we should challenge the outcome of our thinking. So, when a scientific fact challenges a group's core identity, they reject the fact to preserve their belongings. So, you should not challenge their identity. The solution is to make flexibility and intellectual curiosity the core of the identity itself. Instead of I am member of a party that believes A, B, and C, The identity becomes I'm a person who seeks truth, values, evidence, and updates my view as I learn. When an identity is defined by a commitment to process of rethinking, being proven wrong becomes the most successful way to uphold that identity. So, the final conclusion is Think Again is an urgent and powerful book. It provides us with a language to describe our cognitive failure, like when we think like preacher, prosecutor, and politician, and a clear path towards improvement. That is the way the scientists think. So the most important takeaway are cultivate confident humility. Be confident in your ability to learn, but humble about your current knowledge. Separate the argument from the person, embrace task conflict, and eliminate relationship conflicts. Interview, don't interrogate. When challenging others, ask open ended questions to allow them to find their own motivation for change. And identity as a learner. Attach your identity to the process of seeking truth, not to the content of your current beliefs. In the world where change is the only constant, our ability to think again is our greatest tool for wisdom and progress. If you want to spend less time defending old beliefs and more time discovering new truths, pick up this book. So this ends my part. I hand over to Ritu for next chapter. And thanks, Sandhya ma'am, for suggesting this book.
It's wonderful. I really loved it.
Right. Okay, so chapter 5 talks about not falling into the trap of arguing with anyone. And see, we've already understood how the individual things work. Rethinking is trying to understand that uh, what way I'm taking up and how much. See, we do not act just because an activity is there or an event is there. We work according to our culture, according to the customs and traditions with which we have grown up, according to what we are trained for. I'll return to the example of the fire fighters. They were trained to carry all of those tools and weapons and cutters, chain cutters, and all that. That when they could not, hold on to the place and they could not douse the fire, they did not realize they were so trained with all that baggage that it was okay for them to run with all that baggage. It was only one of them who realized that his speed is falling short as compared to the speed of the fire, and he threw away all that he was carrying. When he was lighter, he could run better and he could think better. And then he decided to lie down on the ground and he let the fire pass over him. And he was the only one who survived. So we do not work, we do not act according to what is happening right now, according to where I am. We work according to what we are so used to, the way we are trained, the kinds of seeds that are being implanted in us, and the way they are growing into us. So we really need to understand there are so many things that we need to work on. We need to understand what is the goal whenever we are doing whatever we are doing. What is the goal? The goal is to influence people to rethink their own view, but not to force them to submit to what we are doing. So when we the book suggests that instead of holding on to an argument, trying to force yourself on others, that never works. Don't approach anyone with the kind of disagreement that they have. If they do not agree to what you are saying, if they do not really believe what you believe in, don't try to tell them that they are on the wrong foot. On the contrary, when you are into a disagreement with people, when you get into a kind of a place where you are trying to tell others that how they can improve themselves, it never works. On the contrary, they are if you are out with your sword to tell them that you have to do this, they also have a sword as well as a shield, so they will not get into what you are trying to tell them. So what we need to understand that, and in that ways you also become a logic bully. Fine, you're trying to give them all the logics. This can happen, this can happen, this should be done. That way is probably, you know, the wall between you and the other person on the other side will be so high and strong that you will never be able to break it. So what we need to do is, there is this beautiful thing that he has used here: dance with foes. Foes are enemies. So if there is someone who is not going according to what you want them to understand, or not what you want them to understand, if you are working with an organization, there is some task to be taken up and thoroughly done on. You cannot force people to come and work. So this interpersonal rethinking, what it tells you is that we really need to understand. Let us throw our dice, right? Let's see what options others give. Let's see how it works and how it is going to come to a conclusion. How do you, if somebody has some other point of view, if there are people who take it the other way around, we really need to sit down, and the art of persuasion needs to be, used on it. And then the dance with the four starts when you take their suggestions. Devi ma'am, can you turn the camera off, Devi ma'am? I'm really sorry.
Sorry, sorry.
Um,
Yeah, no, it's okay. Sorry, I didn't realize my camera was on. Very
That's
sorry.
okay. No, please, that's just okay.
Uh,
That distracted me. I'm really sorry. So,
That's absolutely fine. Thank you. Yeah.
so what we need to do is we need to find a rhythm. We need to understand how to collaborate. What is it that my opponent can give me, or not always. We don't not, we do not really need to look at people as our opponents. We really need to understand how can we collaborate. What good can we get from them? What good can I contribute? And of course, uh, let's see how we can forward together and how we can reach a conclusion that is good, something that can give us a better outcome. Then there are a few do's and don'ts that he talks about. Now this is absolutely beautiful. We should not consider other as the straw man. On the contrary, we should be the steel man in an organization, in a conversation, in an event. When there are straw men around us, we take them for granted. We realize that, whatever you say is absolutely correct, and the receiver on the other side is probably lacking in wisdom, or maybe not up to our level, something of that sort. So what we need to understand is that when you are the steel man, that is when you absorb all the points, when you bring your team to understand what it is, how it is, and how it is going to work. uh, in my understanding, I take it like this: that when I have all the ideas and I jot them on a piece of paper and I have my roadmap ready, that okay, that is the destination, and this is how we have to go. This is how we will, grab what we need. That is the steelman, the one who understands, the one who absorbs everything, and then the right decisions are taken, and then keeping everyone in the frame, we get this work done. Then there is one dilution effect that is being talked about. We really need to understand that, when you get into making people understand what you want, they also have their own toolkit. They are trained to carry all those heavy things that they are carrying. It is you who has understood that it is time to throw away all my tools, run faster than the fire. And if the fire is still stronger than me, lie down flat and let the fire take its own passage. Yeah. But maybe others are not on the same page. So we need to ask open ended question. If you say that no, this is wrong, this will not happen, this is going to go the way I want it, that is not how it is going to work. When you have open ended questions like okay, if we do this, probably this can happen. When you say probably, the other one would say okay fine, this would happen, but this would also happen. So probably you will have a fine discussion on it. So open ended questions give you better solutions. Then be uncertain of things. Don't try to be very certain of this will happen. When you say probably or okay fine, I think that can also happen, that ways things become a little more easier for you and the one who is on the other side. Then we must feel secure. If we try to bring in, you must have seen all, there are certain people who have all the problems. Even when you give a solution, they will not work on the solution. So you have to show them that we are secure with the action that we are taking. And you have to be curious about it, whatever you are doing now. Curiosity is very good point that he has. Oh, I'm sorry. It is a very good point that the author has talked about. The case study of a debater, Harish Natarajan. This is very beautiful. He has been winning all the debates in America. So finally an AI was scheduled against Harish to make him understand that there are better people who can defeat him. But even the AI could not defeat. And the reason is that uh, Natarajan was curious about knowing, okay, how does this happen? If this happens, this may happen or may not happen. He was taking up things from his real life, not from the data that he had collected. I'm sorry. But AI was working on all the data that was stored in it. It could not go beyond the data. That is something we need to understand. Whatever data we have about something, that is a good thing, but we really need to give up all the data on some instances, so that our curiosity, when we want to know, okay, if this happens, this may happen, this may happen, this may happen. And when we have a team or the other person, when you are dancing with the foe, when you come down to certain things, that whatever outcomes would be good and whatever outcomes would be bad, how many outcomes would be close to our heart, when we fall into this kind of curiosity, we are able to make better judgments. So we are now moving to the next chapter, the art of constructive conflict and mastering a debate for organizational success. Now, what we need to understand is conflict avoidance is not equal to collaboration. When you shut down, when you try not to argue with people, when you try not to have a team which is too talkative, like I had just mentioned that there are certain people who have all the problems, even when solutions are handy, even when the solutions are taken up, probably they are not comfortable with them, they would like to change it. So if you think that conflict avoidance is equal to collaboration, no, it is not. People, all these things, they keep piling up and then they burst one day. So a better thing is to foster healthy debate for effective group learning, rigorous problem solving, and collective rethinking. So whenever we encounter a problem, we really need to label it, we really need to understand that this is a problem and this needs to be worked on. And we must work with our team to understand what where we are failing, or maybe where we are not very competent. And then now let us look into two things of a debate. A bad kind, it is rooted in personal and emotional clashes. This is a beautiful graph that Adam Grant has shown. Dr. Sorry, CA Parveena Oswal has already used that. When we look at things from a personal and emotional thing, they are definitely going to be things that when we do not reach a conclusion, if something suits me, it may not suit you. I'm comfortable with the solution, but it may not be comfortable to you. So personal, whenever personal and emotional spices are added into our thought process, we are not going to reach any conclusion. Fine. I was giving an example of parenthood on this to someone when I was working on slides. So a parent, when a family has more than one child, you you cannot settle their fights. You are a constant referee. Sometimes you are with them, sometimes you are with somebody else, and that ways every child has the same cry that you love him more than me, or you love the other sibling more than me. So because your emotions are connected, so there are many decisions as a parent we never take, right? But that cannot happen in an organization. In an organization you have to give up the bad kind of understanding. Then the good kind is when you are substantiative and intellectual. When we try to figure out what is correct and what is incorrect, when we try to understand what is it that collaboratively we can do, we can conclude, and what is going to give us a better opportunity. Then finally you become engineers I'm sorry you become an engine for rethinking that tests assumptions and final flaws. So finally when you are working on it that ways, you finally understand what is correct and how it is going to be taken up. Then there are a few rules of engagement. You need to establish disagreement norms. If there are things that we are not comfortable with, we really need to, we've already talked about it, that you have to stand up and speak. Then avoid the yes man trap. If you like yes men around you, then probably you will never succeed, or maybe where you are you will stay there only. Growth will not be a possibility. Amplify quiet voices and embrace the friction. If you and I do not agree on something, we should accept that we are not agreeing. We need to find out a common ground finally and work on it. And amplify quiet voices. If there are people who are not contributing, we really need them to speak. Because I've already mentioned that when we do not speak up at the right time, it keeps piling up and then it blasts. So a better idea is to speak up at the right time and work out what needs to be done. Then the next chapter is a Wesson whisperer and a mild mannered interrogation. Now, this is very beautiful. This is working on the community level, how the right kind of listening motivates people to change. So, you really need to understand that was till now we have talked about how to speak, and now we really need to understand uh, the writing reflexes that when I'm saying something, you keep correcting me. No, 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 it is not. This is not how it is. This is not what is going to happen. So we need to avoid the trap of being the right reflex. And I have the answer is the traditional way. The moment I start speaking, you say, okay, fine, this is how it is going to happen. Now, with this kind of attitude, uh, the the speaker, the one who has come with the problem, may not feel comfortable talking to you, and then probably the solutions may not really come up because you are not even listening to the problem, right? And when you say you have the answer, that means I'm listening to you. So when you are talking about something, when the one who is in problem, when they discuss their problem, you listen to them, and then when they say something, we can point out that, see, you have a solution. So okay, let's see how we can work on it. So that ways the person gets motivated. Oh, I knew it. It somehow missed my own understanding. So now this there is this mention of a case. There is a case study of Betty Bigombe. Fine. She was able to pacify the warring clan. And how did she do that? She sat with them. People have been very abusive. They used everything, every filth against her. But she stayed there. She listened to them. And how did that happen? There is this Orr's philosophy that is being given here. Open questions. Instead of having a yes no or I agree disagree questions, let us have open questions in which When you speak something, when you say something, people give their inputs, and there can be reflections, there can be anecdotes referring to things. That ways we find solutions. And affirmations, affirmation is that we are here to find a solution. All right. So if the meeting is going haywire, like somebody just reminded me that please, it is time to wrap up. So this is an affirmation. You were given this much of time, in this time you have to finish off with these things. So the affirmations keep reminding us where we are and where do we have to reach. And reflective listening is, I'm listening to you, and whatever is being said, we are taking up some points and we are discussing them, and we find out the solution from there only. Then summarizing whatever has been talked about and discussed, finally we come to the conclusion. Now there is this doctor, this is another case history, where people were not ready for the vaccination, but the doctor somehow asked open-ended questions, asked them what their beliefs and things were, and finally he came down to vaccinating people, and especially small children. Okay, I hand over to Dr. Lian.
It's just a beautiful start, rather, to think again. This was one of the best books that I have read because it really made me go ahead and think again about certain perspectives, about certain things, and how they could be. These are the things that I will be handling. And we'll just go. Hope you are able to see what it is on the screen. Are you?
Yes, we are.
Beliefs that we stand by. There are a number of beliefs that we tend to stand by, and major of them tend to go with the if you can see the data that we have, uh, which is against my opinion, how much am I agreeing to that, or how much of the latest scientific studies, even though the scientific view is absolutely important, still we are into the mode of what did this particular person told me maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and my mind is still reflecting on those thoughts rather than
Yeah.
trying to get out of that mode. That is the greatest concern. We don't even realize, but we always fall into the trap of it. Therefore, chapter number 8 here is it's more about charged conversations like depolarizing and the divided discussions. Many of the time we remember different factors, we remember different things of our lives, but the best part that we remember if somebody has triggered us, if somebody had said something to us, the only simplified solution in our mind is this is right, this is wrong. This is maybe I agree with this, I do not agree with this. That's it. But what really matters here is what we all need to understand. We need to get out of the trap of being too simplified. Think again. Always, of course, we are learning in this particular era that we have to be simple. We have to make simple choices and give simplified answers. But think again gives a different worldview, a different perspective overall, wherein actually the author is asking for us to make a little bit of complex choices so that we can understand and we can know the depth of the different perspectives that people carry. We all remember and we all talk about as well that please try to be simple, communicate in a simple language. That's absolutely fine. But when you're discussing about certain things, it's absolutely necessary that we need to start practicing complexification. That's absolutely necessary so that we can revisit our own thoughts and understand exactly where is the need. It's not about always finding the common ground. It is always about finding the common ground wherein we can deal with the complexities, we can discuss about the disagreements as well. Few more things in this particular chapter is whatever decisions that you have been making, how are you making those decisions? It's not just the result that we are talking about, but we are also talking about the process. Please remember the process is equally important than the ultimate result, because whatever you have learned, whatever your thought process has been during the process is going to give you an extra edge to think about what it could be. Of course, I'm a believer in emotions and I'm an author of emotional writing as well. And that's the reason I always believe rather than tagging a person on a particular emotion, why can't we somehow embrace the emotions rather than tagging one emotion? I'm just angry, I'm just frustrated. Loved what Dr. Sandhya said this morning, that I am so happy that finally I am the mother of a teenager. Come on, we have heard this like first time. I have heard this first time in my life, that she is happy that she is the mother of a teenager. Trust me, I'm a counselor. Every single day I have people coming in, यार बच्चा बदल के दो, इसको नहीं क्या सुधार के दो, something or the other thing. I know Sandhya ma'am is smiling here, but she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the challenge. That's what, how we can embrace our emotions. How can how can those variety of emotions, how can the variety of a teenager can connect to you? Uh, it's not just, yeah, forget about those tantrums. क्या चल रहा है यार तेरा, कुछ तो कर, कभी तो सुधर जा, तेरा तो ऐसा ही है, अभी टीनेजर हो गया तो कुछ भी क्या. Not about that, trust me. It's about the the entire hormone changes, the changes of growing up. It's like, yeah, I'm a big boy now, but I'm still small. I'm still your baby, but I'm a big boy. I want to take my decisions. I want to take my responsibilities, embrace those emotions. Trust me. This was one of my favorite chapters, and that's the reason I thought it is really amazing. Yes, we give the best education to our students, and we need to, because that's how we are going to make their future. But at the same time, you know what, it is absolutely necessary that we also give a thought, teaching these students to question the knowledge whatever they are receiving. Same pattern, like a programmed robo that we are giving them. तेरा programming हो गया है, चल first standard, second standard, third standard, 10th standard का board exam, 12th standard का board exam. Same pattern that we are giving. We are not giving them chance to really have a little bit of collaboration in their mind as well. यार कुछ तो कर, सोच, थोड़ा तो समझ ले. Please remember, we want to give them a new idea, new perspective to think about. And that's what we are talking about, the scientific mindset that we are considering here, wherein these students not only share whatever was taught to them, but they are exploring their ideas too. Absolutely necessary for their growth. It's also necessary that we help them, whatever they have learned, if they can find the errors, they can go a little bit more research oriented. We have known that in PhD studies, we have to do a lot of research. I believe even in school age these days, when people are relying more and more on the AI softwares for everything and anything. Let me tell you, I have a client with me, and he chats 18 hours. He's 19 years old. He chats 18 hours. Now you'll have the question, यार किसके साथ chatting है? 19 साल का है. Maybe he's having maybe some special friend. Ha. No, it is AI. He chats with ChatGPT for 18 hours. Imagine his brain. He knows everything in the world. You can even ask him, okay, when was Putin's birthday? उनका बर्थडे कब था, what is he doing, what is the name of his dog, everything he knows. You know what is he consuming? Can we give them the food that is more relevant for their growth, so that we can give them a chance to be more creative as well? Because active learning is the key. We really need to know. Just superficially telling a person, मैंने कह दिया ना तो बस कह दिया, this is it, this is what you have to believe in. No, give room for discussions, for problem solving. Yeah, let's do a debate, let's think about it, let's be more creative about it, challenge their thoughts. Absolutely necessary. In this next clarity that we are going to have is nothing but the psychological safety that we are concerning. Give the other person a safe place that they can express in front of us, rather than, what a terrible question. That is just a foolish question. No, whatever it might be, we are here to handle that. We are here to somehow cater to that curiosity as well. Please remember, Learning is a process. Learning is not a result. And that's the reason we all need to be happy, but also be ready to learn, to experiment something, to receive feedback, to give feedback. It is not just about यार मैंने बहुत सोचा है, I have thought about all this and I know everything about it. Revisiting those thoughts, refining those thoughts is absolutely necessary. That's the reason whenever we talk about in chapter 10, this is all we have. हमारे यहाँ ऐसा ही चलता है. This is how it is going to be done. When a lady, many of you are ladies here, when you go into ससुराल, हमारे घर में ऐसा ही चलता है. The roti has to be made in triangle only. No other way is optional here. Please remember, ऐसा ही होता है. And then I have a friend who is married for almost 18 years. Still, when I ask her, where are you? She says, oh, I'm in the sasural ka home. She doesn't say I'm in my home. She doesn't feel that ownership because always she's been told कि तू कितना गलत है, how much you are wrong. We all need that cultural safety. All need that psychological safety. Wherein it is not about a fear of punishment. In any organization, also, if some person is saying कि यार ये गलत है, this is an error, try to work on that. Let them be open to share. Only then we can make certain changes. Only then we can follow certain scenarios. Not otherwise. Change is inevitable, and we all need to know that. Trust me, most of the leaders fail to understand. I have made this company with my sweat and blood. I know exactly how to run. I come on, hello. Now it is AI, and you are 75. There are certain things that you have to accept. There are certain gaps that you really have to train your brains with. You have to revisit, you have to rethink. And that's what Adam Grant does brilliant. Yes, we may be right. We have done amazing things. But trust me, we can not be always right. We cannot always do this. Please remember, accountability is the key as well. Holding people accountable for the result is absolutely fine. But the really real meaning here is holding people accountable for the process that they have been going through. Love them, give them, encourage them, give them the chance to express themselves. That's absolutely necessary. Make sure, as all of us are into the training areas, at least 90% of us challenge your assumptions. Even as a trainer, challenge your assumptions because it's absolutely necessary. Sometimes it is easy to get into the loop that मैंने जो कह दिया. No, it's not going to work. We can really follow that intellectual humility. Of course, Pravira ma'am also mentioned a lot about humility as well. Start churning yourself, start gaining that knowledge. Even the book review is also churning our thoughts as well. Promote active listening. Yaar, listen to the people. Listening is the crucial thing. That changes everything. And even if you disagree with the person, listen to them. Listen to them. I just love this image. Absolutely. Because we really want to escape this tunnel vision. We all have been following right from our childhood. We all have been programmed from our childhood about certain perspectives which we do not want to change. And you know what I'm talking about? You know exactly what I'm saying. Even right now, you can see me in two cameras. One is on the side view, one is in the front view. I just wanted to be very, very clear that I don't want to mess up. And still, you know what? Some things are not in our hands. I was being into the tunnel vision. Yeah, everything is going to be fine. My tunnel is clear. I can see the bright side of Dr. Sandhya right there. My partners are there who are just going to help me. Everything is fine. Hey, hello. Things can still mess up. And that's the reason. Think, rethink, absolutely necessary. Whenever we are thinking about this, is the last chapter while we are escaping the tunnel vision. Trust me, this really churned my thought process because we really, it's not that today I'm a trainer, I will die as a trainer. Today I'm a counselor, I will die as a counselor. I tend to revisit my career paths as well. Maybe I need to give a thought on what are the different identities that I'm facing, what are the things that I have been doing. It's not about defining yourself by what title you have, but it is more about defining yourself with what values that you carry in your career path, in your life path. And that's what is this collective thinking, wherein you have to think again. If it is possible for you, and I know it is tough. Trust me, I can completely understand, but you have to run those life experiments and have that career checkup every now and then. Make sure that whenever you want to do something, some different thing, some small change, but please remember, don't be scared about it. It's absolutely fine. Because whatever you have thought about, बचपन में, right in your childhood, you were asked, बड़े होके क्या बनोगे? You might remember your children might have said, I want to be a driver. I want to be a dumpster truck driver. I want to be a tractor driver. Whatever they see, whatever they have known, with that perspective, they share their knowledge. Now, here we are, even as trainers. When we train people, how are we updating ourselves? How are we upgrading ourselves? That's what we are talking about. So, as we finish with this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work, Think Again is more than just a book. And trust me, yes, it is than just a book because it really gives you a chance for lifelong learning. Therein, it's not just the book that you're thinking, but it is the overall life, overall observation that we are talking about. It's about empowering ourselves while we are empowering others as well. Few takeaways, and then we will be ready for some question answers as well. Okay. So Adam Grant's one message emphasizes the importance of mental flexibility. We all are flexible. We have our hand, we do this, we do that, but mental flexibility is immensely necessary. The first thing that we need to understand or embrace is humility. Embrace that you don't know something. Be okay. Don't take it on your ego. Ego pe mat le. That it is, I don't know. How will I say I don't know? There are certain things that you don't know. You can't fix everything. So let's be humble on that area. Let's be curious to ask questions. Seek new ideas. Make sure that people are there with us, but at the same time, we are there for them as well. Be flexible with your thought process. It's okay to change your mind. It doesn't, people are not going to say कि यार ये गिरगिट है, ये तो हमेशा बदलता रहता है. It's okay. It's okay. But having the scientific methodology for thinking yourself is going to really help you out here. Last but not the least, avoid the closedness that you have in your life. Be open, no matter what age, no matter what phase of your life that you are in today. All my listeners, all the people who are listening to this book review, please remember, have the openness of the diverse views, have the openness to accept those diverse views as well. These principles are essential for not just navigating, but actually having the journey. Because I am in the journey of change making. Are you? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to rethink, refresh, and rebuild? The greatest power isn't the certainty, but the courage to rethink. Thank you once again. Thank you very much for being such a wonderful part and listening to this wonderful book. Thank you, Pravina ma'am. Thank you, Ritu ma'am, and Dr. Sandhya, over to you.
Wonderful. This is, I think, one of the best book reviews and a book that has come at the perfect time, at least for me. But I think it is a perfect book for everybody at any point in time. The triple R, rethink, refresh, rebuild. Wow. And I mean, before I speak anything else, I know Kundu sir generally comes up with interesting questions and interesting insights. So
Yes,
we're waiting for
yes,
that.
Dr. Sandhya, thank
Yeah.
you. Really,
Leon, can
first,
you,
thanks
one
all
minute.
the. Are you
Leon,
able to get it?
yeah, 1 minute. Leon, can you stop sharing the screen?
I'm not able to. It has locked.
Okay,
Let
fine.
it be.
Okay.
Oh, fine.
Just give me
That's
a,
good.
yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you. First, thank you for a wonderful book review after a long, long time. And all the three have really done very well. I know some of them, at least I have interacted. And this book actually remind me from the initial, I think, fourth or fifth one, the Think Straight. But okay, this is totally different. Fantastic. I have two, three questions. One is that whether these books only talks about the child related, because Sandha ma'am and all other people, they're talking about the child related psychology related things. I think it is not only that, though you have given that example related to that. So I just wanted to know because I have not gone through this book. So please let me know whether this is only for child related psychology thinking and that is, or it is for the all general people. That is my first questions. Let me complete my questions. And the second one, whether this particular books talked about anything on the ego-related thing. You are talking about the think again and all other things for the different, the very, very fantastic examples they have given. Really, I like them. Only that, just tell me whether they have anywhere covered the ego part. I have seen ego, whether it's a child ego or adult ego, that plays a very important part in just doing, thinking, and other things. Just I want this to answer. Otherwise, again, thanking all the three, fantastic, and people should learn how to present a book, how to do a book review on the new people, old people. Really, is a fantastic one. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Please, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I would like to answer that. The book talks about, see, it is working on three levels. Now, the first one is individual, the second one was interpersonal, and then on the society or community basis also. So the book does not talk of communicating with only the children or only the adults. It is, we were just having a little fun in between. But it
Okay,
talks
I got
about,
it. Yeah.
yeah, the book in fact talks about the way we think, and think again is rethinking. Dr. Liana used the correct word. Some things are dormant, uh, or they are hibernating for some time, and we really need to remap them. That is what it talks about, and it talks about communication, or the way we think and act on all the levels in the society. It is not just for children, or only between neighbors and all that. It is at every step in organizations also. And yes, it also talks of ego clashes. So when we debate with people, it leads into, or it takes us to a level where we do not get solutions, and therefore growth does not take place. That is why there was a mention of egos also. For some time, we need to understand, Dr. Liana said, that the company you created and you have nurtured and nourished so well, it is now 75 years old or 70 years old or whatever. Now your thought process also needs to be changed. Now people are working with AI, so let's see how we can work on it. So that is how the ego thing has been talked about and discussed. That's all from my side. If Dr. Liana and CA Pravina would like to add.
Really, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Dr. Liana or any Pravina can talk anything else.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
there are many books on the thinking. I said, the other book, Think Straight. So the rethinking as a part of thinking itself. But
Yes.
the book, by naming Think Again, it emphasizes the importance of the part that you should revisit your beliefs. Because in which family you got the birth, by that the belief, from that time only the belief system start developing. And when you are grown up and you know that it is built up, when you accept that it is built up, then you got the power to change it. And it applies in all areas. Like I said, also, it is in your personal, professional, and social. All areas, these principles apply. And so, when you believe that your beliefs are challengeable, you can check these beliefs, and according to your outcome, what life you want to live, you can change these beliefs. And once you change your belief, your actions got changed. So, not so it is not that according to outcome you have to change your action. You have to change your beliefs, and once so it is your being. Being is changed automatically. You can get the outcome which you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kundu,
thank you.
I would like to add, for many years, I used to always think that, for example, I mean, we are many of us are into soft skills training. So for many years, I would think that how can a soft skills training be conducted online? But during the lockdown, the when we had those soft skills training online, I mean, it was a time where we had to rethink, we had to refresh, and then we did it wonderfully. I mean, having the meetings in Zoom, and then having those breakout rooms. So we found our own ways to come up, having a background. See, right now I'm having a background, because if I do not have a background, it will be all mess here. So it is a way to rethink, to refresh. I mean, it is a way to understand what is it that we present, and manipulate and modify our presentation, so that it is in sync, or it is appreciated by the audience. I think that is what I get reminded of by this book. I mean, I just love this book, even from a personal perspective, from a professional perspective. I just loved. And the reason, Kundu sir, I said it really connected with me personally, because I've Leanne, I correct you. I said I am not a teenager's mom today, but I am a teen mom today. So for me, it is my 13th birthday as a
Really.
mom.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. Yeah.
So that is why I
Yeah,
was came at the right time. Yes, Bharatji. Somebody said.
uh, yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
It's Rajiv. How are you, ma'am?
yes.
I joined late, ma'am. So, but a wonderful discussion actually caught up towards the end. So, I just had a quick question. That is, like when you refresh, rethink on an individual level, how do you decide? Say, in terms of career switch, how do you decide? Like, usually the traditional path is keep going, persevere, and one day you'll get success. But generally, people also do career path changes, which is quite traumatic. So how does this book address the that level? How does it reach out and say at what point is it good enough to give up on one path and go the other way? In terms of career path change.
Okay, if I may address this question, of course, Lian, Pravina, and Ritu, you all are welcome. But what I think about is, see, there are times now. For example, we were seeing Lian struggling, we were seeing Ritu struggling in the call. The only option for them was to leave the meeting and rejoin, so kind of refresh. By refreshing, it doesn't guarantee that yes, I will rejoin with no problems, but that is an option that I need to take, assuming I have to assume that it will help me to continue in the meeting in a better way. Sometimes life takes you at crossroads. It's an option that you take. It's you choose, either you continue on the difficult path, and whatever may happen in that way. I'm not saying that you may not sustain, you may not survive, but sometimes you may choose to go on the other path, and then assume that life is going to be very good. So it reminds me of that poem, The Road Less Traveled. The author of that poem takes the road that he or she assumes it's less traveled, and they think that if they do not like that road, they'll come back. But the author, at the end of it, the poet realizes that even if I decide to come back, that doesn't mean that the place where I come back will be the same again. Life will never be the same again. But yes, that is a way of life. That is a choice that we make, right, Rajivji?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, really appreciate. Thank you. Really
Yes,
appreciate.
Ravina, Ritu.
Sandhya ma'am, may I add something? May I add something? Okay, of course, Rajiv sir, the question is really amazing, especially for all of us when we hit a particular age group as well. When we hit a particular age group, we always think that, this is tough because we always have followed the traditional system of okay, after doing my graduation, after doing my masters, I'm going to have this job, and then we continue that path. Okay, after every 3 years, I'm going to have this promotion, and I'm going to have after 3 years, I'm going to switch the job, and then I'm going to get this part of it. Just switching from our traditional value system, yes, it does take a lot of risk and lot of challenge as well. The book does not mention that randomly just go ahead and do whatever you want. It's not about that, but it is about, okay, I have seen this part of my life, I have done this part of my life, now I really want to explore. I have taken care of my family, I have taken care of myself. One of the cardiologists in Kolhapur, actually, he mentioned, he was asked one question: why so many people are getting, youngsters are getting heart attack? He gave a very, very clear answer, and it really shocked me as well, Rajiv sir. The answer was, people do their studies, people finish their studies, they do their jobs, and once they are 35, 36-year old, now they want to enter Iron Man. They want to, they want to do that Iron Man, they want to run the marathon and all these things. And they are extremely pushing on themselves. It's not about that. And that is one of the reason your body is not used to certain things. Similarly, we ourselves are not used to certain non-traditional methodologies of changing our career paths. Today, I'm a counselor, I am a trainer, I am into corporate world, but at the same time, I love to work out. In the morning, 5:30 to 6:30, I have this workout session for me as well. So we will have to a little bit ponder on ourselves. What are the areas? What are the passion areas? What are the love areas that we really want to focus and refocus, while still making sure that we have made our existence clarified here. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity for letting me answer that question. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that change has to be gradual in terms of
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
and it has to be realistic also, in terms of your past efforts, so you can probably switch over from a trainer to a technical trainer to a soft skills trainer, I think, something like that. But there has to be some sort of commonality, or like you said, somebody is
Absolutely.
trying to go for Iron Man at the age of 35. It's like a little difficult, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
I
Thank you.
would
Thank you.
like to one more perspective.
Pravina, the meeting is going to end in 1 minute and 45 seconds. So, should I
Oh,
extend it or should I end it? We can continue this
Ma'am,
discussion.
please end it.
Better to end it today. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So we
Okay.
can
okay.
continue this
Okay.
Thank you so
discussion.
Thank
much.
you very much.
Pravina, I want you to continue as a chat message, because this is a very, very interesting discussion. Got it?
Yeah, I would like to hear her perspective also. That would be
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
interesting.
So,
So,
Rajiv sir,
your decision to change a career is a away decision or a towards decision. Do you want to pursue your passion? So you want to choose that career, or you don't want to continue in the current career, so you want to change. If it is the away from, then I think you will always going to change your career. So first find out
Hmm.
what is your passion, what you want to do in your life, and it should be towards decision. And then
Correct.
accordingly, what you don't like in the current situation is anything you can change and you can like that. You have to
we are ending. We
think
are
in
ending.
both perspectives.
The meeting is ending. Please, Rajiv sir, continue the discussion in the chat box. Pravina ma'am, continue.
Okay.
Let's continue because it's ending. So thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful book review. Thank you. Lovely.
Happy
It's
birthday once
been lovely.
again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Please, Rajiv
Thank
sir,
you.
continue the
Yes.
question in the chat for benefit of all.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Sure.
Lovely.